I came in, my family very strictly told me that I have to start from the bottom, and I started off, my first job was actually being an internee. So I did an internship for a year. After that I progressed to assistant manager sales, where I started off my career in packages limited actually. So where we actually had to pick up the boxes ourselves, take them to the customers, and that really helped me learn the way that organizations operate. So started off my career in that 6 years I stayed with packages under training. After that I moved to Treat and I set up corrugation. Packages does something similar, but we saw that there was a big gap in the local manufactured material and imported. So that's why we set up packaging solutions, which was at that point in time only using imported material. Then in 2011 I set up the motorbikes. And then from there, it's been a long journey where the group has diversified into pharmas, into the automobile batteries, and hopefully into other avenues as year comes. But for now, our core concentration is on two products, which is the blades and razors and the automobile batteries. Global brands are very difficult. So they're internationally, even locally now, there'll always be somebody who can make it either cheaper than you or who can make it better than you. So to find that place where, where these two things don't impact, it takes a lot of effort. So we were lucky that we're a very old brand. We're about 70 years old and we started export. Our philosophy has always been that we should at least try for 50% export and 50% local market. It's been a rough journey, especially since our exports are also dependent on our imports, but we've managed to make a brand name even internationally, and that is due to primarily because of our quality. So as far as a person maintains its quality or sustains its quality, I think it's building a brand is not that difficult. So we've been very lucky that we've had a good team and we've got a head start of 70 years, and we've maintained our qualities. That's why we've managed to at least get some chunk of the international. Loads was actually started off as a transportation company in the late 60s or early 70s. This was before I was born. But slowly and gradually we saw that there were automobile makers. At that time there was just Honda and Toyota coming in. So we saw that there was a need to localize the products, because initially whenever an automobile maker comes into Pakistan, they import CKDs, which is a complete knockdown unit, and they just assemble it. So we saw that eventually this would be the need, so we pivoted from a transportation company to a auto parts manufacturing company. And so our largest, right now our clients include Suzuki, Toyota and Honda, and in order to provide OEM suppliers, it's very important that you have the approvals from their principals, which is in Japan. So in collaboration with the Japanese, they came to Pakistan, they taught us how to make the automobile parts, they helped us how to procure the equipment, to procure the raw material, and that's how we managed to make loads. And now we are the OEM suppliers for all the OEM automobile makers currently in Pakistan. I think the last crisis which Pakistan faced was in 2008. This was, over a decade ago. Now I think we're going through one of the worst times in the history, not just because of a world recession, but also because of the political instability. So we are hit with two things, the recession and instability. So this is like the worst time for somebody like me to step into the business, because it's a very difficult time. But having said that, the future is very bright for Pakistan. We're a very resilient nation, and we've been through countless wars. We've come out. We've been through countless corrupt political leaderships. We've still come out, and I think we will come out. And every recession also has a silver lining. It's a great time to buy out low-cost projects and to build on them. As long as the political instability is controlled, I think Pakistan, we have a very young population. So we hear it all the time that more than 50% of our population is under the age of 30, which is very good for the country. So I really have a lot of hope in Pakistan, although it's going to be a very difficult time. But I think the companies which will survive the next 1 or 2 years will actually come out stronger. It'll help. So in our case, it's helped us even become more efficient. So when we were going through this crisis, we saw how we could better improve ourselves, and it is only because of the crisis that we took some drastic steps which have improved our efficiency, has improved our profitability. So I see the next 2 years as being tough, but once we pass these 2 years, I think it's a positive time. Currently, we are concentrating on our core business. We're already in process of setting up a pharmaceutical, so we're not looking to expand in that way. But as far as the opportunities are concerned, I think there are a lot of opportunities in Pakistan. I think if you look at the EV segment, has a huge potential in Pakistan. We sell about about 1 million motorbikes a year, which is a very, very high number, and so converting them to EVs to save on fuel because of the fuel prices are going up. So a regular motorbike would cost you, I mean, you've heard the saying that it takes about 1 litre में 70 kilometer, but for an EV bike it's actually half a paisa for 1 kilometer. So it'll be something like 35 rupees for 70 kilometers, which is nothing as compared to 300 or 310 rupees. So I think there's a lot of potential there. There's also a lot of, we're an agrarian economy, but unfortunately we don't rely on that. We're one of the few countries which has all 4 seasons, summer, winter, spring, autumn, so we can grow a lot of crops. So there's a huge potential in that. Pakistan has a huge potential, but then again, it always comes down to the leadership. So you need support from the government and the leadership. Right now, if I want to set up a business, or if I want to, even with existing businesses, the government makes it so difficult. Filing your tax returns, getting refunds, getting approvals, they just make it so difficult. If they actually did support the country, I think there's a lot of potential in Pakistan. EVs and agriculture, and of course, IT is one of the biggest potentials which we are wasting. So there's this thing called the brain drain, where all the talented people actually go abroad. So in Pakistan, because the US dollar is now at 300, development costs are so low, we need to really encourage IT. So I think these 3 avenues, agriculture, IT, and electric mobility, I think this is the future of this country. We've got a couple of projects coming, but they're all shaving related. So we're coming up with shaving foam, which we haven't. So we're coming up with that, and we're coming up with the pharmaceuticals. So these are the 2 projects that we are Renacon Pharmaceutical, yes. So these are the 2 projects we are currently looking at. The shaving foam is something which I'm really excited about, because we already have about a 70% share of the blade market. So the shaving foam share is all between local players in Gillette. So we'll be looking really forward to getting more than 50% share of that within the first year or year and a half. So we're optimistic. I think print media will always stay because there's a big population which actually, it's the same as books. So they're ebooks, but a lot of people prefer reading books. So it's something to have, that paper feeling in your hand. I think print media will stay, but I think at the same time, it's the right time to pivot towards, maybe digitizing that print media as well. So have a bit of both. But I don't think print media is going anywhere. We've been hearing that print media is going for the last 20 years, but it's not. Yes, it's declining. But I think it'll always be there, and in one way or the other. And now every newspaper, every magazine also has a digital part of it. So I think it goes hand in hand both ways.